Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Board of Health regular meeting located at Old Town Hall, 111 Somerset Avenue, Tuesday, June 20, 2023. It is 4:02. And this is a remote participating Zoom meeting. It's a public meeting being recorded for cable broadcast and internet posting on YouTube and youtube.com/Town of Dayton. The Zoom information is on the agenda online on town website. Call to order.
Patrick McGovern, present. Oh, sorry.
Joanne Wilson, present.
All present. All Pacheco present. We don't vote on that, right? Okay, pledge allegiance. Ms. Mello, would you like to give us the nurse report?
Yeah, so I just continue to contribute to the Strawberry Vine monthly. This month is on sunscreen. I have my monthly blood pressure clinic. That was today, Tuesday. So it's every third Tuesday over at Pine Time. We started with mosquito testing in Massachusetts. They tested 272 mosquitoes. Of those tested, none came back positive with AAA. So that started, I don't know how often they do that, but that started well. With the healing community study that I've been reporting on, we attended a number of events recently. The Strawberry Festival, as well as the Council on Aging, had an unmasquerade event that they did with Taunton and Rehoboth. Those went very well. At the Strawberry Festival, we were able to distribute 16 Narcans. We didn't distribute any at the Council on Aging event because we didn't have any on hand, but we did distribute the little tablets for people to dispose of their medications. You just put it into the medication and water and it makes it into some kind of form that's supposed to be better disposed of. So we did give out those. I did attend the drop-in center for the Healing Community Study. The one in Berkeley opened. It's at a church, Free Church. So they have a drop-in center now called Calvary Cares. You can go for harm reduction medications, counseling, you can go for Narcan, and a variety of other resources are available there. I know that later on Mike was going to come and talk about the Public Health Excellence Grant, so I'll talk very briefly on that. In regards to like the public health nurse, it looks like we'll be ordering some blood glucose monitoring devices as well as cholesterol. So I would have the opportunity to have those as things that I could offer to the community. I was kind of excited about that. I had a session, education session, but nobody came. So that was disappointing. I know Jim was here to help me clean up my stuff. I was thinking maybe next time kind of partner with the library, is that being an event because they seem to be able to bring people in.
Right.
So I'll talk to them about that, but that's all I had.
You have any questions? Building Commissioner?
Sure. Afternoon, everyone. I suggested that one of the Board of Health members dress up as a tick next time and the only other thing was that we had a pool inspection slated for last week. And that was for Papa Squash. They canceled because they're having trouble getting the pool water clear. The clarity is below standard, so they're still working on that.
I've had that same problem.
Yeah.
I've taken like 10 water tests and they're all perfect, but
So I think the weather has a little bit to do with it right now. So, yeah, because everyone I talk to is having clarity issues. The problem, clarity issues in a semi-public pool is an issue. So that's all.
Thank you. You have nothing? Okay. All right, old business, regulation on animals and to write the regulations. Do you have any comment on that?
As an ag commission, we recommend Board of Health has to write.
Okay,
Yeah, I put that on there because before Todd left, he said that we were supposed to write those, but we never got around to it, so.
do we have the information to write?
We have what Stacy
And
submitted.
I know he gave you a couple of other towns, what they regulations look like. If not, I have a couple in my hand that just to see what they had, but
Okay, so
I
it's,
think it was just on there so we know it needs to get done because
right,
as of last month, Stacy was, the faster we do it, the better.
right.
Does this include the issue that was brought to our attention a few months ago?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought were we all set on that, or do we still have
We
to?
need to write the regulations need to be written, they need to have a public hearing. It needs to be posted, and then from what I understand, you send them back to the ag commission, and the ag commission has 45 days to tweak them or update them and then send them back to you. We're hoping, that as it stands right now, we're looking at September, October before these are all settled. So as soon as we can do that, the better. I have footing to go out when the chickens are crossing the line or even other animals crossing the line. We've had some people that are supposed to get it out, so.
Sorry, I thought we had something
you know,
set and we were doing our 3 meeting type thing.
I think that was for the fees.
No, that was for the regulation on the chickens.
But then we discussed that we'd get them all together.
Right,
Oh,
We divided up to last month and
okay.
okay. So this is something we need to get done. If we get regularly requires a vote. If you want to vote on it. Okay, the free restructuring. Do you have anything on that?
Yeah, not. Started to look at documents last week, so I don't have anything to.
Yeah, then from what I'm looking at, I think that the increase is a little conservative on a lot of it. I think we do have to take a deeper look and see where we really want to be with, because we don't want to keep changing.
No, I'd like to do it once.
Okay. Then we'll put that after we table it.
Is this the one that,
Todd and Rouse them out.
okay, didn't I send one out? Do we have that one? No, it's fine.
Mail it out.
That's fine. I already sent it out, so, I don't know if any,
Copy of that.
yeah, we'll make sure we send one to you.
Thank you.
So do we vote to table that or just keep working on it? Put a new,
You want it on for next month's meeting, so we can.
yeah, I'd like to have it done for next month's meeting. Your motion to have that done for next month's meeting.
Sure, I'll make a motion to table the fee structures again until next month.
Second.
Aye.
Okay, carries. Okay, review, discussing that Board of Health restructuring. Board's been changing so much lately that, and we didn't have a chance to totally restructure, only being 2 of us. So I've been the chair, Patrick's been the clerk. I think we actually voted you in the clerk.
I'd like to make a motion to make Patrick the chair.
I don't know. I've thought about it. I think I'm gonna have to respectfully decline. I don't have the time to put forward towards the day-to-day operations currently. Definitely could be something that would change down the road, but I'm gonna have to decline that.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
I did want to make a motion if you were interested to make you the clerk, though. If that's something you would
Okay.
like.
Well, we have one motion on the table first.
Oh, okay.
So your motion is no?
Yes, well, I'm a no on it,
Okay,
so it can still go to vote. You still have a vote.
yeah, I'll step down. What's that?
You have to second the motion.
Yeah,
So nobody
well, I'm gonna
seconded.
step down a second
Oh,
for Patrick. So that I will stay the chair. Now, as far as the clerk. Any motions on who should be the clerk?
We need to second and vote on that last one.
Oh. I,
No, we need to second. You need to step down as chair,
Yeah, yeah.
second her motion.
I stepped down a second.
And then
I'll do it again. I'll step down a second. The motion that Patrick made.
Joanne made.
Step down and
So I'm gonna vote no then.
Yeah.
I would like to vote no.
also, so you're gonna vote?
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, so then.
I'm a no.
And you're a no?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say chair.
Mhm.
Okay, so. You voting? Aye. That is the motion, right?
That was Joanne's initial motion requesting that I become chair.
Okay.
God voted down. So now I would like to make a motion in the Board of Restructuring to nominate Joanne as clerk.
Okay, now, should you make the motion for the chair, because her motion got turned down?
No, she voted a no on it.
you remain chair.
Okay. All right, you want to be the clerk? You,
Is there a motion on the table?
yeah,
I did, yes, I made a motion.
Okay, so. Do I second? I second?
if you want. to.
Okay, I'll second. Don't think,
So. Your second?
Yep.
Okay, aye,
Aye.
so you're the clerk now,
okay.
okay, and then you'll be a member. Okay, go through that. Conservation Commission request for septic notifications. You wanna clarify that, Jim, or?
Yeah, we can do it, Jay. Lisa and I met today about this, and we actually had a very good conversation, very good discussion. I was unaware of a couple of issues that have come up in the past with septic designs that Lisa made me aware of. And we certainly don't want septic designs, you can come up, being denied because of conservation, concerns on a property. So having her more involved when it comes to design, if there's wetlands on the property, I think would be great, not just for Conservation Office, but most especially for the applicant. We did have discussions about perk tests.
Yeah.
And applicability for repairs versus new construction. And like I said, it was a very healthy discussion. So
Yeah.
I think including conservation to a certain degree is appropriate. Lisa said that her intention is not to interfere with perk tests or designing new systems. Been reviewing the perk apps, so I would have no problem reaching out to Lisa before the software is online to make sure that she's involved. But no, I actually enjoyed the talk today, so it went well.
Yeah, I think so. Just to back up, like under the Wetlands Protection Act, so there's two authorities that conservation kind of, well, is in charge of overseeing. So we oversee the Wetlands Protection Act and make sure the performance standards of the Wetlands Protection Act are adhered to with projects. And then we also enforce the local Conservation Commission bylaw. So under the Wetlands Protection Act, people are allowed to perk and do test holes and all that. It's all exempt. So that's the state. But under the local, We don't have that exemption inside our local bylaw. That's something we could consider when we're revising our regulations. I find it's helpful because if I get a call from someone and they say they're digging next to a wetland and I don't know that there's already a perk there. Then on top of that, you know, if you think about, sometimes if someone wants to perk a property and they didn't know they had a wetland, well, it's kind of helpful if I tell them, well, don't use that map. You know, my knowledge by going to the site tells you that you do have wetlands. They could get on that wetland consultant list ahead of time to get some work, someone to come out and do the flagging for them and start a plan so that they're a little proactive. I don't feel the need to like have my hands in everything. That's not me, but I just like to maybe know that there's like a placeholder so that for meetings coming up, I can tell them that meeting agenda is looking really full, but if you can get it in for the next agenda, but repairs and replacements, I mean, obviously we all agree they're necessary. We want to get them going and fast track them. But I also am concerned a little bit more so about new perks.
Right.
So maybe Jim and I were talking about maybe the form that the Board of Health is using, it could use some revisions.
Definitely.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
In your permitting, in your online
Mhm.
program, is there a way for conservation to receive a message or something saying we just scheduled a perk test
Oh, yeah.
so that they can review
Yeah.
the address maybe?
Right,
And
Right, yeah, no, all that stuff is somewhat automated through the system, so yeah, the communication is there. So I think we've talked about it ad nauseum, but I think it's time that we actually implement and get this thing going, because I think it'll remove a lot of the concern. And like Lisa said, the last thing we want is her driving by a property she's not aware of and then stopping, and then that causes a whole other layer of involvement. Whereas if she was just, you know, understanding from from Jump Street, it would eliminate all that.
Does that give Elisa enough time? I know you schedule a perk and try to get done as quick as possible. I don't know how often you guys meet.
Yeah, well, I'm only part-time. We don't have to meet for me to review the perk location.
Yeah,
So, but I am only part-time. So I mean, if I could have a week's notice, it would be really
Yeah.
helpful.
it's rare unless it's some type of emergency situation, that it would be less than a week for a perk test anyway. So, I mean, maybe I am gonna bring that application to you in the future meeting. I just saw it for the first time this week or last week. It definitely needs to be revised. There's some inequities on it. So, so I plan to do that, but I think in the interim, I think after our discussion today, we can see how this goes moving forward. And then if we need to revisit it, we will. But I think right now we have a pretty good understanding of how things can work.
Okay.
And stay within the confines of the law and not interfere with people's rights to get, you know, things done.
And then I think our request was specifically because there was an issue where there was a septic system that was approved. But then the Conservation Commission had been reviewing that one concurrently. There was a vernal pool on the property and we needed to allow for more of a setback. So with a vernal pool, it's 200 feet, but they were trying to work in the 200 feet. So they ended up flipping it over and putting the septic on the other side. Luckily, they had room and everything, but Todd had to re-review that. So it's just another instance where it would be good if I usually say, has the Board of Health reviewed and approved it at the meeting when it comes to septic systems? I know my chairman usually asks the same question, so it would be good if the filing was concurrently so that you guys, but if you guys could just communicate with us and make sure that, you know what I mean, we're on track or we've at least received a plan and we're looking at the project.
Yeah, I was unaware that happened. Obviously, I would not recommend approving a plan that hadn't gone through conservation if wetlands were on the property. So that's something that we probably could have avoided had we had this discussion earlier. I wasn't involved. I just got involved last week. But I mean, if the conservation and Board of Health,
Yeah.
so,
Well, I think like Todd knew that there were wetlands, however, so because we provide 100 feet off of vernal pool as part of the resource itself. Because that's the habitat, the upland habitat. And then 100 feet on top of that is the actual regulated buffer to it. So I think because the engineer didn't really see that extra 100, didn't understand that part of it, the interpretation was, it happens.
Yeah, but in the future, open communication,
Right. Now, this is
eliminate a re.
this is new construction.
Yeah,
So, like I said, I mean, I feel pretty confident after the call today.
I think once we have that set up where everybody's connected, then that engineer would have had something signed off from conservation.
Yep,
And
and,
would be able to say, I mean, the plans make him aware of where his.
right.
buffer is.
And the nice thing about Permit Link is that you can email a comment, it's date stamped, it stays in the system, everybody can see it, everybody, even some members of the public can see some of the comments, so it's all transparent and everyone's fully understanding of where things are, so I think that will help a lot. So, not that we need anything else to do, Michael, but we gotta fast track that. All right, thank you.
okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. And I have these for you guys if you, you've probably already seen it,
Thank
but it's an opportunity.
We're not making any motion on this. That issue and nothing to table, right? They're not asking us to make any requests for notification.
No, it's just a process that's been supposedly in this is a process that's technically has supposed to have been in place in the past anyways, correct?
Yes,
So we're just gonna continue with it.
yes. I just think the depth of discussion today went much deeper than it has been, and that was great.
Right. I know you had some questions that you wanted answered.
Especially the consumers, so that's all.
No, just move on.
Okay, well, next one, posting of the job of the health agent. Ms. Mello, you sent out, Ms. Mello,
Wait,
Actually, I think we skipped over C, Paul.
where would we ship?
Public excellence.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction.
Hi. Elizabeth's gonna bring up a slide, though I'm not gonna go completely off of it, so it's more for, I guess, glamour.
What email to you? What email card? Would that fit to you?
Yeah, it's asking for his password, no,
I can do it without it.
yeah,
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 it was more,
the board does have the PowerPoint anyways, like,
Looks-
but we can talk about the Dayton specifics.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna do a little oversight, just try to bring us back to how this is and how it's formed. So I'm talking about the Public Health Excellence Grant. That's now finally we're starting to actually get some leeway on. So this was made to expand shared services arrangements to provide a more comprehensive set of public health services for towns. Kind of helpful for us because we're a smaller town and obviously we're not going to have what the city of Taunton has and stuff like that. It doesn't take away from us at all. We keep our Board of Health, we keep all our employees that we already have. It's only adding additional services to us. So staffing opportunities that we have, we could add inspectors, public health nurses, epidemiologists. We have a shared services coordinator. It is BME Strategies. We as a I don't know what you would call all the towns that we are, if we're a coalition or what we are, but Attleboro, Berkeley, Dayton, North Attleboro, and Rehoboth and Taunton all got together and we all met people and interviewed them for the shared services coordinator, and BME is who we hired to do this. So they do a lot of the legwork. Another thing we get is clerk. So all these things that we would get would not be just for our town. They would be from a pool that we could pick from. Million now to work with. It got expanded due off of our results from an assessment capacities that we completed. So after they saw what we needed, we got an additional 200,000 from what we are initially at. So we're at about $500,000 right now. So some permitted costs that we can do is salaries for these pool of employees that we could bring in, benefits, payrolls, consultants, travel, program supplies and related expenses. So far, kind of what we have agreed on are, that we need another public health nurse, for the pool. Berkeley doesn't have any public health nurse. And then the other towns, every public health nurse is part-time. So there's availability to have that. Because then that would be helpful with Maven. Any town that only has like one nurse to do Maven, sometimes it can become tricky. So that's probably what that person would be pulled from to do. Another thing we're looking for is inspectors. We're going to hire, I don't know how many inspectors at this point. We haven't really got to that point yet. We're really ordering supplies because we're behind the ball in regards to this fiscal year, right? So we're kind of trying to use up the funds now before we start doing our long-term planning, because we didn't have a shares coordinator for a while. So we couldn't do anything until we got that. And it took a little bit more time than we thought. So we're ordering supplies. Like I said in my nurse report, one of them was some blood glucose monitors, cholesterol monitors, some supplies for what inspectors would need when they go out. Supplies there's talks of having health fairs within the communities that these public health nurses would come and use, apparel, laptops. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I couldn't find the list beforehand, but that's some of the things so far that we've put our funds to. I don't know when we'll start the process in hiring these individuals. We haven't got there yet.
After user services.
Let's think of what the hiring process is. I don't know if we have to come up with new job descriptions, like are tailored to this. And then, so yeah, I would say 4-5 months. I like to say longer than I would hope.
Not gonna be next week.
No, no. And one of the slides I had was, the credentials that, were put out with the blueprint. I said I was gonna send that to you guys. I don't think I did. But it was something that was put out, and these were credentials that are eventually they're saying are going to be statutory, right? So they're no longer going to be like nice to have. They're going to be, they want you to have them. So this is where that will help us, because there's no way we're going to have anyone on our team that's going to have all the things that they outline on here. But if we have people in this pool to pull from, then we'll be in compliance.
Will this grant allow us to have anybody actually come in the house and do anything that we need, or is this just a?
Well, it mentioned a clerk, which made me believe that we could bring someone in for a certain amount of time to do if we needed that kind of stuff, because I don't know how else you would share a clerk.
Yeah, I think that helps. I'll focus on that component. Yeah, I mean, really, we've been really focused. So on the inspectors, really beefing up that. The epidemiologists, we've never had one that's extremely important. We're one of in the capacity assessment that we did. We do have a weakness in disease prevention. So like we've never fully focused on the public health component of the health department. So so that's really where our focus has been centered. So that's why we've been focused on those type of things rather than departments.
Yeah, and for disease prevention, like even though I monitor Maven, there's diseases that come in that I don't have to actually do anything. It's just a good to know. But when there's a certain amount of them, sometimes it feels like, well, an epidemiologist could say, you know what, it would be good if we did X, Y, and Z. I just don't have that knowledge because I'm not an epidemiologist. So it would be nice to have that extra in case there's something extra we can do for the community that's not being done. And of course, the inspectors is what I think will be most beneficial to Dayton. Do you have anything to add to this?
The only, mentioned this whole process, so we applied, we together with the other 5 towns and cities applied for this grant, I believe in November of 21. We found out we were awarded the grant in the very early part of 2022. And so really the implementation of this whole process is really just getting rolling now. One of the things the apply board, they did sign off. So on us actually joining into this coalition at the beginning. But in terms of really where the rubber meets the road now, probably I'd say in the next month and a half or so, there will be a proposed intermunicipal agreement that will be sought to be ratified by the Board of Health in the selectmen in every town. And so, yes, so like we really just wanted to give an update today, so when we do have a draft IMA that's ready to be proposed, we were, so like really jumping off from the same point, we just weren't. So like this especially, the new board, because you're a new board, so yeah, and we wanted to make sure everyone was up to speed on where we were in the process now. So in a month and a half from now, when we do have a proposed intermunicipal agreement, so yeah, like everyone's up to speed on what we are, so our hopes and aims and the goals are of the process. So that's.
And I just want to add the, all the towns have been really good about, sometimes when money gets involved, everyone's like, let's just buy. But everyone's been really respectful of what everyone needs. There's been one town asked for something that was only going to benefit them, and everyone had no problem speaking up. You know what, that's not going to benefit everyone else, and that town had no problem with it. So it's been going very well. We all work very well together. And I'm hoping that it's going to lead to good things.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So understanding that this is gonna require an IMA agreement. Is the context of that agreement written already? Is it boilerplate? Here's my concern, and maybe this question can be taken back to the coalition. Understanding that we have a need for inspectors here in town. Inspector response time is important.
Mhm.
So if we're sharing inspectors with other communities, how will Dayton know that they have inspectors available? Is it a specific day? Will it be regionalized? How will that all work? That would be important to make sure that we can have the inspector available if the requests come in, within a reasonable amount of time.
Mhm.
One of the issues we've had lately, was that, people were waiting for inspections. We want to get away from that model and go to a model where we don't stand in the way of progress or people need things done. So that would be my only concern, having an IMA that didn't explicitly say what that was, is waiting for an inspector and being exactly where we were or worse off than we were.
Do you remember if that was outlined? I don't feel like that was outlined in that.
And the evolving drafts that have been out there so far, it's really about the governance structure of the group. Rather than the more descriptive elements of the positions themselves.
I think that would be a different document that we would all agree on.
Right, but I think it can be written somewhere so people can have an expectation of what they can.
Yeah, no, like it would be in that, I just don't think in terms of the governance structure of really the consortium of the document, it wouldn't. Like an IMA itself wouldn't, I don't believe, get that descriptive.
So in the future, I'm just making you aware that that would be a concern for operations, is that if they have a 72-hour response time, well, leaving a hole open in someone's yard for 3 days isn't gonna work.
No,
So we need to be conscious of that.
And I would bring forth any kind of documentation that, and I wouldn't be, I'm one of the people that would agree and vote on these things, and I would not do so unless the board was in agreement. Mhm.
Yeah, one other thing also, we've talked about like inspectors, but to be clear, we haven't actually talked about what type of inspectors would be hired as well, and maybe we do leave the Title V and test inspectors to be locally based, and maybe the inspectors that we're talking about, they may be food inspectors.
Right.
They may be housing inspectors, focus on those.
It's all what works best for us. I mean,
Yeah.
so, and we cannot pick from that pool at all if we feel that we don't want to, we're not forced
There's a
to.
benefit for them, obviously use it. I just want to make sure we progress.
No, I understand, and I'll keep that in mind when that comes around. Any more questions?
well, I get.
Yeah.
On to the next one, not with this, what I was gonna ask you.
Am I here or there?
Yeah, here with. Oh, you can, easier. You sent out an email to us about a couple of different places that
Mhm.
advertise a job.
Mhm.
Could you just enlighten us on?
Oh, okay, the Massachusetts Health Officers Association, and then what was the other one, Mike? The two places that would be best for posting these positions?
Yeah, the Massachusetts Health Officers Association, the Massachusetts Health Boards has a job board as well, in addition to the Mass Municipal Association. Those would be the three. In terms of the So in terms of the health department industry, those are really the three best practice areas.
Okay,
The resources as opposed to.
well, thank you for that. Okay. Move on to posting of the job for the health agent. Any questions, Pat?
Nope, I read it. That looks good to me.
Any
It's fine with
questions?
me.
Okay, I'm fine with it. We just wanna, I guess we should make a decision. We're gonna put this in play immediately. Well, when I say immediately, we'll look into all the avenues of where we're gonna post it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were finding a place to post it and getting them posted. So,
Yeah,
I make a motion that we post these positions for the health agent immediately.
Second motion.
Fine.
okay. And basically, the next is posting of the department director.
And I'll make a motion that we post that immediately as well.
A second.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, that was quicker than I thought. Okay, to review, discuss and act, vote to recommend to the Board of Selectmen, Jennifer Duchexera be appointed as a tobacco inspector for the tobacco calibration. Motion,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to recommend Jennifer Texera to be appointed to the tobacco inspector for the tobacco collaborative.
A second motion.
Aye.
okay. Review, discuss, act, other items not reasonably anticipated within 40 hours. One thing that I have is just wanted to fill you guys in on. Today with Bill Inspector, I went out to place it. It's pretty much condemned, it needs to be knocked down. And we did find what we thought was a grave on the site, but I did get a hold of the ex-wife. And she said that the guy public cremated, he went down to, it's down by the water, he went down to the boat. Yeah, to spread her ashes, so her ashes, he's not on the property. He just had a stone made up with his mother's name, tapes. It made a little place that he could go worship for himself. So I'll investigate a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not being lied to. If we think we need verification of, I'm gonna try to find out, what funeral home it is. And then if we know that she has been cremated, at least we know. When we left the site, we didn't know whether there was a body on the site that he buried it himself or not. But we really didn't think they did, but we just want to make sure. So that's all I have there for the public input. Or after for the other business. Any correspondence?
And today that I shared with Nicole, it's about opiate. I thought something she'd be interested in since she's doing all this.
Yep, I'll attend it. I think it's next week. I think it's about going into the funding, that we're gonna be getting. What to do with it, stuff like that.
Okay. Else on it? All right, move for approval of the minutes. I think we got in trouble for doing them all at once, one time. So we were supposed to do them one at a time. So can I get a motion to approve May 10th minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from May 10th to 2023.
A second.
Aye.
Okay. And can I get a motion for June 6th meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 6th, 2023.
A second.
Aye.
Okay. And June 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 12th, 2023.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. At 4:42.
Yes. Really.
I feel like I'm missing out on some emails or some correspondence because I don't have a town email yet. So if Nicole has, am I still on? Sorry.
Yes.